Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, December 11th. Taking a look at precipitation over the past 7 days, not a lot across the Great Basin. It has been a dry week. You look on the right-hand side, percent of normal, basically 0 to 5% of normal for what would normally occur this week. So again, quite bone dry. That dryness pertains also for the longer term. You can see the drought monitor, percent of normal precipitation over the past 30 days, again, below normal and extremely below normal across the southern Great Basin. The drought monitor, which kind of factors in precipitation deficits for a longer period over the course of 6 months or 12 months, and some other factors, shows exceptional drought, the highest level of drought that there is on the drought monitor, covering most of Utah, portions of western Nevada into the Arizona Strip. Extreme drought area in the lighter red covers a larger portion of Nevada and the rest of Utah. And we have drought conditions already popping up into parts of southern Idaho. So again, extremely dry. And in these exceptional drought areas here, we will have to keep that as a concern as we go through the burning season. Heavier fuels could burn much more rapidly and efficiently than normal, and it could also play a factor to an earlier start in fire season across the higher terrain across the south. Looking at snowfall the past 72 hours, again, not much here for us, but except in the southeastern corner, there were a few inches of snow, much heavier amounts into adjacent Colorado. Snow cover on the map, other than a thin strip across the higher terrain of Utah above about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. Pretty barren across the southern half of the Great Basin. Much more widespread snow across the higher terrain of Idaho and western Wyoming. Satellite imagery, though, does show some activity starting to pop on in. No more high pressure ridge over us. Low pressure, deep one over Vancouver, sending in impulses of disturbances into California and pushing across the Great Basin. So we are looking for some weather changes. Another deeper storm off the Pacific coast. So this next system here over California will produce some light to moderate precipitation, mostly in the form of snow across Nevada and Utah. Late tonight into Saturday, a deeper storm for early next week. So let's look at it for this afternoon. There's the developing moisture across California, still moderately dry here across Utah. Some more impulses and deeper moisture across Idaho. Overall, ventilation dispersion, excellent where you see the white and decent where you see the yellow. Transport winds starting to pick up a little bit in the green, yellows, and oranges coming out of the west, northwest. Vertical mixing overall quite good in most areas. Now for tomorrow, that storm deepens, and this is tomorrow afternoon. Most of it has pushed through Nevada and is affecting mostly Utah and the eastern Great Basin into western Wyoming and parts of eastern Idaho. Excellent overall dispersion. Looks like the wind flows coming in more out of a northerly direction behind the front, and we could see some light to moderate amounts, a few inches of snow, especially across the higher terrain. Look at those winds coming out of the northwest. You can see some of those gusts over 45 miles per hour in the purple and maybe over 50 in the brown. And again, overall excellent vertical mixing. Sunday, a break across the eastern Great Basin, but the next impulse already pushes into the western Great Basin up into Idaho on Sunday with more rain and mountain snow. Ventilation index starts going down a little bit, mostly due to the cloud cover that could limit some vertical mixing, but overall, most mid and upper slopes will see good transport winds. You can see here, especially off the Sierra front, very gusty winds, 40 to 60 miles per hour. Somewhat lighter amounts, but still good winds as you head further north and east. Vertical mixing looks okay for the most part. The area in blue could be less than 1,000 feet, otherwise mostly above 1,000 feet. This is the Utah Clearing Index. Orange to reddish colors indicates the best vertical mixing, blue to purple the worst. You can see things improve as we go into today and Saturday, take a big downhill turn on Sunday. Now, precipitation, this will be Friday evening through Monday evening. You can see quite a bit of precipitation for most of the Great Basin, except for the far southern portion of Nevada. And in the blue shades, a half inch to 3/4 of an inch. That could be anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of snow. You see those areas across the higher terrain of Utah and Nevada, where they have not seen that much more significant amounts across the Sierra front into Tahoe. Going into Monday, storm system again pushes on through, starts exiting into Utah and eastern Idaho. Good progressive pattern, excellent dispersion in the white. Free frigid high pressure builds in on Tuesday. Dispersion goes down just a little bit, especially in those areas in red. Then Wednesday, next storm system starts taking shape. First impulse pushing through the northern Great Basin. By Thursday, the storm system deepens with precipitation going into the northern half of Nevada and Utah as well, covering most of the Great Basin. Wind flow and dispersion should be decent as well. This is precipitation Monday night through Wednesday night. A bit of a lull, except light to moderate amounts across Idaho. And again, more significant amounts across the mountains of Idaho and starting to push into the mountains of Utah as we go into Wednesday night through Friday night. The longer range, 8 to 14 day outlook, this takes us from December 19th through Christmas Day, near to slightly above normal temperatures, but keep in mind that's for December. And otherwise, looking at precipitation, a wetter than normal condition developing across most of the Great Basin, where you see the areas in green, especially the further north you go. This concludes our briefing. Next one will be this coming Monday. And just as a reminder, after next week, we will take a 2-week hiatus through the Christmas and New Year's period and restart our smoke dispersion briefings after the new year. Have a good one.